so I haven't been recording in a while. But that's because I've been pretty busy with work and everything, and now everything's slowed down, and I've got people off my back mostly. It's that time of year, the holidays and all of that. Time to get fat, lazy, relax. No, I'm gonna hustle and grind, hustle and grind. No, no, no. I'm gonna be kind of lazy and enjoy the extra time. So, um, good news is I got some new recording equipment, and maybe it'll reveal its quality here in this first ever test run. Cause I'm just did a couple little sound clips with it earlier, played it back, screamed "what the fuck" into it a few times because that's fun, right? And then played it back, and it sounded pretty good. It made the wife and kids jump, so yay me. Always enjoy doing that because if you can't scare the shit out of your family, who can you scare the shit out of? Who probably won't shoot you for doing it. Because that's the way we live here in the South, right? Jump out of a bush and get shot in the ass. Happy fucking April Fools. Yeah, April Fools blast you. But hey, welcome to Texas, motherfucker. Anyhow, I was talking with some coworkers the other day. They don't ever travel like I do, and I didn't really know how to segue into this. But really funny thing is, so when you go over like other countries, and after you live in America for a while, you get used to the way food is, like, right? Anywhere you go, anywhere you live, like, you're used to the food that you eat, cooked the way that you're used to. And within pretty much any area you go in the U.S., you pretty much have an idea of what we all expect food to taste like, or at least how we expect it to be cooked to a level of respectable, appropriate doneness, right? Nobody likes their chicken breast cooked to paper dry. Nobody likes their steaks well done. I mean, at least nobody with a soul likes their steak well done. Just order a fucking pot roast, you steak hater. And then the same thing, like, you order buffalo wings and you want boneless ones, just order chicken nuggets. Just order the fucking chicken nuggets, okay? Like, don't waste everybody's time. Just say, hey, look, can I get some nuggets and some dipping sauce for my Happy Meal? And get the fuck out of Buffalo Wild Wings because you don't belong there. But back to what I was getting at with Asia and all of that, because I went to Asia and I've been there a few times, and the way that we like our food there, food here. Sorry, I'm not from Asia. I'm not Asian at all. So if you're Asian and this offends you, well then step your cooking game up. So anyhow, like the Philippines in particular, I found it really common to way overcook everything with the exception of fish, right? Because, like, I guess maybe because all the islands there, like, they became very masterful at baking fish. The fish head thing I don't get. I mean, I kind of get it, I guess, because there's a lot of people there that they chop the head off and sell the rest, and that way they could pay for their bills, and they still found the way to make to get a meal out of the day. It's really pretty clever. And then, like, it became a comfort food. I think that's what I'm looking for, is comfort food, because I was working for a big oil company over there, and we had access to, like, whatever kind of food we want, and we are eating fish heads and oxtails. I mean, hey, whatever, like, right? Anything is home. But what really tripped me out was when I would go, like around Manila, and if I wasn't ordering seafood, I could guarantee whatever sort of pork or beef or chicken I ordered was going to be cooked like paper dry, like sliced into it, and you could see the individual fibers of each muscle tissue. It was like cake. It looked like cake. It was so dry. And then, like, the butchering process, that really tripped me out, was you go and you order fried chicken somewhere, with the exception of, like, your name restaurants, right? Like, so if you go to, like, Buffalo Wild Wings, because I do have a Buffalo Wild Wings there, like, in Manila, and it was just as good as in the U.S. Like, no complaints about that. But I would go to, like, these little smaller shops when I was over in Palawan, and I know Palawan's not anything like Manila. It's a tiny little place, and it's a resort town. But man, it really tripped me out. Like, I ordered ordered some fried chicken, and I know you're wondering, what the hell am I doing ordering contemporary American food in rural Asia? It's like, well, sometimes you just kind of want something that's familiar tasting, right? And so they don't butcher the chicken up into like legs and drumsticks and thighs and breast and wings. No, they just take the whole bird and they hack it into pieces with a cleaver, and then they bread it and fry it like that. So you might get like a chunk of breast meat with some bone stuck, some rib bone stuck to the back of it, and then like the top nugget of a thigh, and then like some drumstick ends. So it was really kind of a culinary experience. It's a hell of a thing there. But I also learned to enjoy a lot of different things by traveling like that. Like I used to hate curry. I hated the flavor of curry. I hated the smell of curry. I hated the thought of curry. I hated things that rhymed with things that with curry. But then I went to Singapore for a while, and so I know I just talked a bunch of smack about Asian food, but particularly like the Philippines, like because like I said, I had some really good crab dishes in the Philippines and a lot of good seafood over there, no doubt. But then I went to Singapore. In Singapore, it's like the U.S. in its own way. Like you can get food from anywhere in the world made any way you want. Like it's pretty fantastic like that for being a tiny little place. But curry was the main thing. Like I hated curry so much, right? And so I'm going to jump again with a little squirrel brain here, and I was working in Malaysia out of a place called Kota Baru. I think I said that right, Kota Baru, something like that, right? But anyhow, like everybody there, they did the same thing like they did in the Philippines. Like they cooked it just completely paper dry, and then they would cover it with sauce to make it palatable. And I guess like they really like their sauces. And if you like curry, like you are in the right place. I had the same problem in Trinidad actually, but you were definitely in the right place if you like a lot of sauce on your food, because like everything's just kind of really well cooked. And my guess is like this is a habit just to ensure that nobody gets sick from the food. And fair enough, right? But so anyhow, I'm there, and like they're cooking freaking curry on everything. The first day I get there, I actually got there on Valentine's Day, and this is in Kota Baru, right? And so they're making what are they making? They're making crab. And like there's these big red crabs with little white polka dots all over them. And I'm just like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to have some crab legs the first day here. I crack one open, and like just curry sauce just pours out of the inside. And it was like not something I could do, right? So I'm there, and this is actually offshore is where I'm working at the time. So I'm out there, and I'm captive, right, if you will. Like you can't leave because you're on a big metal island, and so there's nothing to eat that doesn't have curry on it, morning, noon, and night. And I'm starving, so there is one thing I can eat. They got ice cream. They got no limit of ice cream, like plenty of ice cream. So like, I'm try to stay pretty fit, and I'm pretty conscientious about what I eat, but not during this trip. Like I am chowing down on ice cream because it's that or I starve, so I'm having to work out like crazy at night, and then try to choke down a little bit of protein here and there that I can with every meal that I can somehow sling enough curry off of onto a napkin. And like that was the other thing, like the napkins that they have are like paper thin, and so it's very, very difficult to wipe your hands or anything with it. So anyhow, I'm starving to death, and it's been there for about 10 days, and I've lost somewhere around 10 pounds, I think, at this point. Maybe I've been there for like 12, 13 days, but I've lost 10 pounds easy. So needless to say, I'm pretty damn hungry, right? And they have their big meal at like 9 in the morning for some reason. That's just when they like to eat. And so one day I walk into the galley, and it smells wonderful. Like, and I see there's big pots up on the serving tray there, and everybody's lining up with these giant bowls, and I see them spooning out what looks like broth, right? And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like, it smells like pho thai. And I'm thinking, I can eat Vietnamese food. I eat a lot of Vietnamese food. It's like, I'm so excited. Like, I hop in a line, I grab a bowl, and wait patiently in line. And everybody's eyeing me at this point because they know I don't like their food. And it's like, they're all giving me like a really suspicious eye this morning. Like, this dude's going to eat today? Like, he's going to eat today of all days? And like, I can kind of feel it from him. But like, I don't care. Like, I'm about to get me some freaking pho thai or something similar I think, right? So I wait up there, I get in line, I see the big bowl of rice there, so I scoop some rice out of my bowl. I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe it's not noodles. Maybe they, pour the broth over the rice. And so I give me some rice in the bottom of my bowl. I walk up there, and the guy, the cook, he ladles out a spoonful of broth, and then he goes digging around, and he pulls out a big chunk of big, fat, juicy chicken feet. Nah, I'm not fucking kidding. Like the whole fucking chicken's foot with the toenails still on, the little wrinkles. Like it looks like a fucking hawk had a manicure, right? It's just got all trimmed and it's pretty and clean, but like it's got the toenails and everything. And I'm like, there's no meat at all in this, and it's a fucking chicken foot. And I have like a little quiet retch in my throat, like, nope, can't do it. And it's like I immediately take the bowl in my hands, I turn around, I look at the guy behind me, and I stick my arms out and basically shove it to him. And like he just looks at me like, kind of shrugs. I'm like, take it. And so he takes the bowl from me, and I just step out of line, went and got me some more fucking ice cream. So I gotta tell you, like, that's what disappointment smells and tastes like, apparently. And it looks like chicken feet, like boiled chicken feet. If you want to get a mental image of what disappointment looks like, it's chopped off chicken feet in a bowl of fucking soup. That's it. So anyhow, enough about chicken foot flavored disappointment. I started working on a topic back in October, and that goes to show you how much of a slacker I've been. I really haven't composed a whole lot about it, but it's kind of a big thing, and it's highly speculative, like everything that I talk about, right? It's just kind of, there's no real clear, definite answer, and you can argue it in both directions, ad nauseum. And what I was looking at was, the press and the whole media, because like this was before the election, and we all knew that this election was going to go wild. And how did we know that the election was going to go wild? We knew the election was going to go wild because the media told us it was going to go wild. I mean, right? That's how they always do it, right? They tell you, okay, this is what you should be worried about right now. And I mean, that's kind of the function of the press, is to tell you what you should or shouldn't be worried about, and kind of give you an idea of current events and climates and so on and so forth, right? But like, who the hell is the press? Like, yeah, we know the names. Like, we can all look up a channel and, a news network and an anchor or whatever. But, like, who the hell are they? And, I mean, who is the press, and who controls the press, and who gets a press card? Who decides who gets a press card, right? And then, like, how much foreign interest or how much foreign influence is on our press? There's going to be plenty of it, right? I mean, we can look at Hollywood and see all the Chinese influence on that. And I know China's like the big whooping boy right now. It used to be Russia, right? Because Russia was influencing our elections, and they rigged the election to elect Trump. And I don't know why they couldn't do it this time. But apparently now, they couldn't steal this election, whatever. So looking at it this way around is, China, though. It's just China. How much influence do they have? There's billions and billions of dollars in our media, all coming from Chinese markets, and there's lots of just sales. I mean, like I know we always heard funny people talk about the Marvel movie and Doctor Strange and the Tibetan monk, or the lack of the Tibetan monk, but. And there's other stuff. There's like, in Mexico, there's like these funneling ways that it gets in there. There's a Mexican billionaire, Carlos Slim. He owns 17% of the shares of New York Times and has like a $230 million deal with China JAC Motors. And it's one example of filtered but connection with major news media and financial interests to protect Chinese narratives and stuff like that. And then Jeff Bezos, he owns the Washington Post and has billions tied up in a Chinese market. Though it's his smallest market, it's still billions, right? I mean, because like the guy's super crazy rich. And he runs Chinese advertisement on his pages and his on the Washington Post. And also had to work several trade treaties to get through to buy from the former Joyo company, or Joyo.com, whatever the hell it was called, I can't remember. And then, like, you got Time Warner, and when was it, back like 2013, Warner Media announced it forged a partnership with Chinese investment fund to the tune of like some $50 million. And It directly invested in Chinese media. What was that? The CMC. It was a Chinese media capital. It's a company with oversight from the Chinese Communist Party, right? So I mean, like it's obviously subject to the censorship of the Chinese propaganda, which is worth mentioning that they also own CNN. You know, we all joke the Communist News Network, but like, kind of are, right? And then you get looking into other stuff like NBC Universal, right? MSNBC and NBC are both owned by NBC Universal, and NBC in like 2010 signed an agreement with China's state-run media organization Xinhu or Zihu. I don't even know how to say it. I should probably learn how to say these things before I speak about them. But hey, who's an expert in every language, right? You get what you pay for. Anyhow. They had to establish a business cooperation for international news broadcast. Since the signing of the deal, the U.S. State Department identified Xinhua and 5 other Chinese state-run media organizations as foreign missions. They have been identified as direct CCP operations and do not function as independent news outlets. I mean, that means that they are literally Chinese Communist Party propaganda outlets. And this is NB motherfucking C working with them. Right? But no, okay, don't worry. Everything you get is good, clean. It's pure as the driven snow, and everything you see on the TV from everyone speaking about it is telling the absolute truth. Oh my God, I'm over here having my phone blow up, and I'm trying to silence it, and then, you know, the, what is it? The Samsung monster Bixby was starting to chime in. So anyhow, back what we're talking about with the media and that, right? So another one is ABC, who owns Disney and ESPN. They have ties to China. They have ties to China and the CCP. Disney World Shanghai was like what, $3.6 trillion project. I want to say billion, but it's freaking 3.6 trillion. Like, man, Disney's rich as hell. Right? I mean, got $3.6 trillion to throw into building a Disney World. I bet that's cool as hell. I should Google that and check out Disney Shanghai, see how badass that is, because you know that's going to be cool as shit. So anyhow, it's 57% owned by the Chinese Communist Party, right? And so ESPN director in 2019 instructed their staff not to discuss Chinese politics if they were asked about it, or to talk about Hong Kong, which a lot of us remember the NBA and a huge source of revenue for ESPN refused to denounce the CCP human rights violations. They also refused to print any of the Hong Kong stuff on their jerseys. They were caught, you know, there's a lot of people who were posting screenshots of all the horrible things that you could put on an NBA custom jersey, except anything criticizing China at all whatsoever. So, you know, that was one of the many things that ABC and the NBA had kind of, you know, got caught red-handed about. And then, you know, you got to ask the big questions like, how many of our representatives, Congress, and Senate members hold stock in those companies, or hold stock, right? Or have some sort of smaller subsidiaries that also benefit from it. And how many of these companies donate to their campaigns? Like 85% of all donations of media, you know, corporate media as a whole, go to the Democrat Party, and 86% of all publishing firms campaign donations go to Democrat Party as well, at least according to OpenSecrets.org. So you kind of got to, how do you reconcile all of that influence with the idea that it's supposed to be true, unbiased, fair, accurate media that's not, you know, being falsely reported? How are you supposed to sit there and objectively and reasonably say, oh no, I can trust what I'm being told, and that, you know, whoever this particular side of the media is promoting as, you know, the chosen one is really who we should trust? And I know this is all a little too late now, right? Too little, too late, because it's pretty clear that Biden's going to be the winner. I'm not going to dive into the whole voter fraud thing that's going on right now, or the accusations of it, the inquiries of it, you know. because there's a whole lot to navigate right there, and it's all just a bunch of wild opinions till everybody gets done with their investigations and hearings, all this crazy fucking talk, calling it a coup. It's, damn, Al Gore, it took 47 days to confirm, like that's just ridiculous. There's all these companies are really just feddling. They're just peddling fear porn and just, got to get them clicks, got to get them clicks. Ooh, who said the trendiest fucking thing on Twitter today? Everybody's just out there scrolling, looking for, they're bargain shopping, not bargain shopping. They're conclusion shopping. They're bias shopping. They're looking for confirmation just to whatever the hell it is that they already believe what they want to be true. And everybody's guilty of it. Everybody sucks. Everybody's fucked. And that's where it ends, and that's where it begins. And until we learn to think a little bit more independently, we're just kind of screwed. Which we won't. We will not learn to think independently because we are finding out, or we are being more carefully crafted into very narrow tribal groups. Right? We're being tribalized and categorized. We're being divided and put into the right and the left, the red and the blue, and they find more and more divisive ways and more narratives and more technology to herd us, obliviously like cattle into the different chutes for us to be slaughtered. I know that's a little bit hyperbolic, right? Because I don't think they're not really trying to slaughter us, not yet anyway, not that I'm aware of. They're just really just trying to get us to buy shit. Get us to tune in, get us to subscribe, get us to click, get us to spend some fucking money and parrot whatever the hell we're said for whoever the hell tells us to say it, or whoever pays them to tell us to say it, right? And, well, here we go, down the rabbit hole again. I think that puts us somewhere near the 21-minute mark, and I think for a return, this is a good one. Talk to y'all later.